In the face of tragedy, the Democrat Party did what they excel at, which is exploiting tragedy for political and monetary gains at the loss of others. A Florida ex-student walked into Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland with an AR-15 and opened fire. The result was the loss of 17 people and many others injured. Most of the nation is in shock and mourning, but it didn't take the Democrat Party long to let the tragedy go to waste. They turned the tragedy into the political platform, and it was embarrassing when the Democrats were sure to blame all guns in the country and call for people to give money. The boss weren't even cold yet, and the Democrat Party and some of its hacks were already sending out emails begging for money while at the same time attacking the NRA, Republican politicians, and guns. The email, which was sent out by the DNC, included an invitation to sign a petition telling Congress it's past time to take action to address our country's gun violence epidemic, and right after you sign the petition you get immediately redirected to a fundraising page, where you see a line at the top of the page: read your contribution will benefit Democratic National Committee. Classy. Meanwhile, they compete with the Stoneman Douglas Victims Fund, which is the official GoFundMe created by the Broward Education Foundation to provide relief and financial support to the victims and the families. As of today, the GoFundMe campaign has raised over $1 million. Wonder how much the DNC has raised on the blood of those lost in Florida via the Hill. Sen. Ted Cruz of Texas accused Democrats on Thursday of seizing on mass shootings to push a political agenda, saying that calling for increased gun control after such tragedies is not the right answer. The reaction of Democrats to any tragedy is to try to politicize it, Cruz said on Fox Friends. So they immediately start calling that we've got to take away the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens. That's not the right answer. The Texas Republican recalled traveling to Southern Springs, Texas, after a deadly mass shooting at a church there last year. When I was at the hospital with the victims' families, over and over again what they said to me in Texas, they said gun control is not the answer here, Cruz said. Cruz's comments came a day after a gunman opened fire at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, flaying 17 people. The shooter was arrested Wednesday and identified as 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz, a former student at the school who had been expelled for disciplinary reasons. He was charged Thursday with 17 counts of premeditated murder. The shooting reignited calls from some lawmakers and advocates for tighter gun control laws. Former Rep. Gabrielle Giffords de Arizona urged members of Congress on Wednesday to find the courage to pass legislation addressing gun violence. Giffords emerged as an outspoken advocate for tighter gun control laws after she was shot and critically injured in 2011. Even in our grief, we must summon the courage to fight against this fear. We must find the courage to imagine a country where these massacres do not occur, she wrote on Twitter. Our leaders must find the courage to escape the confines of the politics pursuit, the moral necessity of peace, safety. Representative Seth Moulton D. Mass also demanded on Wednesday that President Trump get off his ass and work with lawmakers to pass gun control legislation. The Hill website also covered more on this. Via The Hill, conservative activist Grover Norquist on Sunday accused President Obama and Democrats of politicizing the tragic mass shooting in Newtown, Con, to push for gun control. We have got to calm down and not take tragedies like this, crimes like this, and use them for political purposes, said Norquist, a prominent anti-tax activist and board member of the National Rifle Association (NRA), on ABC's This Week. President Obama has been president for 4 years. If he thought that some gun control would solve this problem, he should have been pushing it 4 years ago. He didn't, Norquist continued. Democrats had a majority in the House and a supermajority in the House and the Senate for the first 2 years that they were in office. If they thought that this was really an important issue, they might have done something then. They didn't. So what they're now doing is politicizing a tragedy rather than trying to do something that might, he added. Norquist's comments brought a sharp rebuke from Democrat Cory Booker, mayor of Newark. Booker, who appeared on the same panel as Norquist, said that both sides in the gun control debate needed to move past political positions. What happened in Connecticut was a grievous tragedy, but every single day in America, every single day, people in communities like mine go to bed fearing violence, said Booker. I'm tired of the political debates. They are not necessary. I'm tired of the ideological positions. We don't even need to visit them. Let's stick to the pragmatic center where all Americans believe the same thing, he added. The mass shooting at an elementary school in Newtown has sparked a renewed debate on gun control. President Obama has called for legislators to pass bans on assault weapons ban and high-capacity magazine clips. But the NRA is standing steadfast against new restrictions on firearm ownership. NRA CEO Wayne Lapierre on Friday called for a national program to place armed guards in American schools to help stem future mass shootings. Democrats, though, have strongly criticized the proposal. Norquist on Sunday said that lessening restrictions on gun ownership could help prevent more gun crime. We ought to take a look at what has worked, he said. You want to drop the number of murders, you want to drop the number of you want to drop the number of armed robberies, have more people with concealed carry permits in your state. The data out there is clear. It's been out there for decades now. Maybe if children would learn that life is meaningful and every one of us is valuable, then people will change their mindset. Today's desensitized youth don't remember that it's permanent when someone else then we would have these problems we have today. One way to teach them this would be to set an example. An example of not commercializing this tragedy for personal gains of a political party. Don't you agree? If you'd like to support the victims of the Florida high school shooting, then please donate to the GoFundMe Victims Fund. For the web powered by Zergnet, this figure skating move was too provocative for the Olympics. Olympic figure skater handles wardrobe malfunction perfectly. The real reason you don't hear about Leanne Rimes anymore. Snowboarder breaks his neck in terrifying crash at Olympics. Here's who Jackie Kennedy thought had her husband killed. The letter JFK wrote to his lover a month before he died.